Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, in case you ain't know so, and welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with SoSo. Coming to you live, y'all. This week, the Marlins start the second half of the season on the wrong foot. The Open tees off this weekend across the pond, and Inter Miami CF gets ready for Messi time. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go!
Coming back in 3, 2.
What a week. What a weekend. Let me tell you, bro.
What?
That post that I did, that I shouted you out, because I was wearing the Miami Golf Bros Open
Which is a
2020.
fire polo, by the way.
Fire polo works perfectly.
Have anybody? I've had a couple people tell me that they've worn the merch.
Yeah, man.
And that they've had other people be like, "Yo, let me see that a little bit
for sure,
closer in detail."
Both guys that I was playing with this week asked me like, "Yo, what was that?" And I was like, which makes it hard because like you're like, "Yeah, follow my boy, right?" And then it's like, "Oh, but what's up with that trip?" And it's like, there's a waiting list. You see, you gotta be put on the waiting list, which I can ask, but it just opens up a box of worms, right? But yeah, man, I had a good time, and I didn't really dodge the rain that's been off and on this week, dog. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's been everywhere, all over South Florida. Thunderstorms have been like crazy. But you got a little round in at a place not so well liked.
No,
by many. Remain nameless. No free ads here.
For sure, but like the problem is now that the fever of golf is really taking place down here in Miami, right? Like as far as people in our age bracket, bro, if you're gonna do the disservice of charging and then not have a good golf course, for that you just close down your facility and or lower your rates completely and fill it up that way. Because meanwhile, you're competing with other courses that are maintained, upkept, you know what I mean? Actually have greens. So it makes a big difference when you're paying for golf, dog.
Yeah.
Because it ain't cheap.
I totally understand where you're coming from, but the other thing is we don't have a lot of options here.
That's also true.
There's not that many courses, especially when you're talking about Dade County.
Yeah. Damn.
You got Trump, Springs under construction.
Yep.
You got Country Club, which is mediocre at best.
Right.
Shula's rates are up now. Biltmore is through the roof. Miami Beach, Miami Shores, Normandy. You're talking about $100 courses.
Even Crandon.
And then, you have Crandon out in the Key. But then what other courses do you have? Miko, Costa. What other golf courses do you have besides that?
Nah,
I think I just rattled off like 10.
Yeah. And
that's it.
And none of them really stand out. Obviously that are not Trump.
Good, yeah.
No,
Trump
like the Trump and Lake.
Miami Beach,
Normandy,
Beach,
right? Like, yeah.
Miami Shores. Yeah. You got some good ones, but it's crazy because you have 10, like if I name 10 courses right now, let's say I named a dozen, 12 of them, right? 6 of them are like above average.
Yeah. That's a C plus,
yeah.
B average.
And it's not that the other 6 are average, it's that the other 6 are like
trash.
Below average.
Yeah. And it's a shame, dog. But
it is
whatever, you're still gonna play, right?
What are we gonna do? That's why that's my whole I digress. That's my whole argument is that's why they can get away with charging $30, $40, $50 for these courses that aren't worth $20, you know. Right. Even if there is a cart involved or whatever. But hey, you got your golf in, dog. That's all that matters. While I was here doing a bunch of yard work at the cribbo, just dying in that blistering heat, bro. It is so hot outside lately.
Yeah, it's been rough, man. It's been rough, and the fact that you can even get a heat advisory from your phone, like in the middle of the day, just lets you know how hot it is. So yeah,
I thought it was my phone that heated up, overheated, and it was like, no, get inside before you die.
You're gonna melt
from heating shots.
You're gonna melt, doggy. You're gonna melt,
bro. It's bad. Like you just stand outside and you're just sweating. You can be just chilling, not doing anything, and you'll start sweating within 30 seconds.
It's not good. It's not good. It's a bad time to be hot, and a team that's definitely not hot as of late is the Marlins. They kind of struggled heading into the All-Star break, still headed in with a positive win and whatnot, but overall they weren't the same dominant comeback Marlins. And in this series against Baltimore, the Marlins, besides getting swept, it looked like they were starting to fall apart in innings that they normally win, right? you get swept by Baltimore. You lost games 2 and 3 early on in the games, right? Where by the fourth or fifth inning, Marlins are down 4-3, 4-2, something like that. And it's like, yeah, it's we can come back, but you don't necessarily want to just rely on that, right? Just because you know that you can do it. And that first game was that type of feel, right? Because the Marlins lost 5-2. And Sandy had pitched a decent game for himself, right? Not a great game. Had 2 earned runs. Could have been better, right? But he pitched enough, right? And enough to keep the Marlins in the game. And we just didn't show up with the bats that day. We never really led in the game at all. And they pretty much lit us up because they hit 3 home runs in that game off of our pitching. So we kind of struggled there. And
not all 3 were off of Sandy, though.
No. Just one.
Just making sure.
No, yeah, man, that would have been real rough. Just one. But it was enough. It was enough for them to get the big plays, and the Marlins struggle at the plate. So even if you do get 2 runs in on Sandy, which is not bad at all, right, in this modern age baseball where it's a lot easier to score runs, Marlins just couldn't put anything together, right, where it's either the top of the lineup was doing well and then everybody else behind them kind of sucked. And that's kind of like what we saw on Saturday in Game 2 where we lost 6-5. We were up that game, but the bullpen gave it up, gave up 2 runs in the 7th via a home run and an RBI single, which put the game out of reach for us, right? Because now we had to fight even harder off of a game that we lost and trying to come in with that mentality to bounce back, and we never got it going.
Whoa, sorry. The candy. That thing is, get that crack away from me. Yeah, I did so you guys didn't have to hear me munching over here. But, yeah, no, that game at least, we bounced back, right? We lose 6-5. We didn't get the production we wanted as far as, obviously we didn't get the win. There was a couple guys that didn't. They kind of underperformed collectively that should have, done a little bit more. And had they done a little bit more, we would have easily won that game, right?
Yeah, for sure. Brian De La Cruz, Jesus Sanchez, and Gurriel, all 3 of those guys who were batting 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the lineup that day.
Big in the rotation.
Well, yeah,
those
huge.
Big spots.
All of them combined 2 for 13 with 1 walk. So not a lot of production from 3 guys that you're expecting something, at least in between the 3 of them. I don't need all 3 to ball out, but right. I need to have at least one of you guys supporting whatever we are getting from the rest of the lineup. And that day, Luis Arias went 4 for 5. So it's not like there weren't people on base or opportunities for these guys to do something. We just couldn't get anything right after that. And usually that's how we were winning games earlier in the season when we were on our good little streaks here, where we were hitting consistently, where the third guy was the guy bringing in the run. That means first 2 guys got on, and then we got another simple base hit, and we were manufacturing a lot of runs. We started to fall away from that, and this series kind of just got away from the Marlins quickly because, yeah, we lost that game 6-5, and then Sunday you're thinking, well, let's bounce back. And then again, almost completed the entire comeback in the 9th, but it was just too much because the Marlins were down yet again early in this game.
It sucks. It stings, especially being so hot, being, everything that we were doing leading up to the All-Star break, but it's not anything to necessarily hang your hat on right now, in my opinion. It's not a good loss. We lost the series, but we went the second game 6-5, third game 5-4. I mean, Orioles, besides us, they're one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. They got a better record than us. I think they're standing at 57-45 or something like that right now.
Right.
They got some big hitters, some big bats.
True.
So, the fact
solid team.
The fact we're able to hang with them, maybe necessarily we couldn't close it out. Shake that rust off from the All-Star break. Who knows? We could attribute it to that.
No, because these games were winnable. At the end of the day, they were winnable. Maybe you say, okay, the first one gets away from you, but games 2 and 3 were definitely winnable, which is why I feel strongly about them. Because you're going up against like-minded competition, a team that's also fighting for playoff exposure to get back into the swing of those things.
Should have at least got the third game.
You feel me? Like it's not like you hear Baltimore in the playoffs recently. It's usually almost Tampa Bay, New York, and Boston, right?
I hear you.
So they're on that same mission as the Marlins. And I felt like competition-wise, we were kind of on the same level. It's not like these guys were that much better than us. we were definitely within the parameters of games that we liked, as far as the style of games that we like to win and like to play, and we just couldn't capitalize on them. And that shit sucked because, Baltimore was hot. They had won 5 games in a row before the series started, and now they've won 8 straight games. Kind of tells you that even with the break, that's a team that's locked in on their goal right now, and they're currently second in the AL East, which is hard as fuck to do because, again, you're mentioning the Tampa Bay Rays, New York Yankees, and the Boston Red Sox. 3 teams that are collectively shown more winning historically and even recently than Baltimore has ever in the last 5-7 years.
But the Red Sox and the Yanks are both struggling right now, so it's the Rays are really the only.
But if you had to put money on
in the conversation,
if you had to put money on one of those teams making the playoffs,
it
wouldn't be.
Either franchise you can
bingo. So same thing for the Marlins, right? Like we missed that opportunity to go out there and maybe lose the first game, but win the series, which is one of the goals that we changed towards mid-season, right? Seeing how this team was playing and the fact that they were winning so many series. We kind of got accustomed to us being able to shake off a loss and go ahead and win the rest of the games that need to be won. Now we have another opportunity to do so. Starting tonight, by the time you guys hear this, the first game of the series against the Cardinals will be done. But we need to show some type of resolve, right? And say there's no way that a playoff team like we are can continue to play like this. We need to play better. We need to get into a different mode of things and attack this with a different energy. Because talent-wise, we have what it takes. We've already proven that. We have what it takes talent-wise. We just need the consistency to continue to march towards that playoff standard that we need.
So you're saying talent-wise, we're there already? We're good?
Enough to play at the level that they shown this year? Yeah, why not? Why not? Who else besides Arraez, right, and Soler has really stood out to you? Because Jazz hasn't played enough. And that's a third guy that we would probably be in that conversation.
That I would say stands out to me would be the 20-year-old pitcher.
Yuri.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got called back down, right?
Right. So he's not available right now.
Yeah.
So besides those,
as far as stand out for the year, for this year right here, because it would be number one out of A's.
Facts. Right? Number one, facts.
Right.
Okay, so then my point for that is saying, like, how much better can this team play? Because if it's just those aspects, those 1, 2, 3 things that we mentioned, and everything else is just average, then the team as a whole is probably average and can play a little bit above average. And that's what we've seen so far in the first half of the season, right?
Right.
Because nothing really stands out to you. We mentioned that there's only 2 dudes on this team that even have double-digit home runs. So the team is pretty average when it comes to power, but when it comes to hitting and averages,
they're efficient.
So it's not crazy to expect this team to perform every other series against competition. And Baltimore was good competition. Now we're playing a team like St. Louis who has been struggling this year, right? Under 500, not necessarily doing well. They're 40 and 53 on the season, so 13 games under 500. They've won their last 2 games. So, again, the Marlins are going to have to go out there and play better than a team that's trying to play well, right? And this is a team that's still behind us technically when it comes to the wild card standing. So you want a further distance from them and bounce back from losing a series, not only getting swept, but losing the series and getting a win after that.
No, the nice thing would be to sweep this series completely. Bounce back off, getting swept to now sweeping a team that's lesser than you this season.
For sure.
And then go into the following series, which is another, underdog opponent, and take 2 out of 3 on that, or sweep that series and really bounce back, man. That's really how the Marlins are going to get it done this year because – baseball's about the long run, bro. That's why so many games. Why I hate this because, like you said, any of those teams that are out of it, things can happen. Somebody gets hot late, July, August, September, and then boom, they're in the postseason, and the Marlins are on the outside looking in. So we got to win the games in the series that we are projecting, that we need to win. You know what I mean? That we know that we're better than.
This is one of them, right? Because the two pitchers that we have going that have been announced so far, which is Luzardo, a guy who's pitched well for us this year, right? And is capable of going to this, of like at least going 6 innings to get a win. And we also have Sandy pitching to close out the series. And he's shown improvement from where he started the season to where he's been pitching his last 4 games or 5 games. So we have a legitimate shot as far as the mound goes, right? Winning this series. And if we can win this series, maybe not get the sweep, but at least win the series, come back home and face that Rockies team, a team that you know you can beat because they're not a good team. They're one of the worst teams in baseball. You can go ahead and build some momentum off of that. And yes, it may be inferior teams, right? Or teams that are playing really bad
record-wise,
but you still, guess what? You still got to go out there and win games and win the series. And that's what this is all about now for the Marlins, heading into that playoff contention. Because those good teams that spend money, the Mets, Phillies, the Bostons, the New Yorks, the Dodgers, the Giants, those are teams that are going to be able to acquire players and spend money and get guys towards the trade deadline to build up the rest of the roster for the playoff push. I don't know that the Marlins are going to be able to pull that off, or if they're willing to pull that off in order to add a piece here and there. Because at some point, you're going to have to add a piece to this team, whether it's in the pitching department or as a starter or a utility player or a bench guy that you can come and rely on for some power, some extra power that we don't necessarily have. Now, maybe you point at the return of Jazz as one of those quote-unquote free agent type pickups, right? Where you get a player who hasn't really been available for you, and now you're projecting him into a lineup where he's fully healthy. That's going to definitely help. But he has to be healthy, right? Do you get an extra piece? Do the Marlins have something in the farm system that they're willing to say, you know what? We're willing to get rid of this piece that we value so much in order to get a bat for this year, which we're not really guaranteed to be X type of player. Now, that all depends on how many other series can we win? How far can we push this leading the wild card into the season? Is there a chance where we make up some games against Atlanta, right, and get within 3 games, 4 games? Because right now we're still far behind them.
I think the Marlins are playing with house money. We're not really known for making those mid-season trades and those crazy, because even last year with Pablo Sanchez, we didn't deal him right before the deadline.
Which was smart.
Season trade. But we're not known for doing that, is my point. And I don't see that happening necessarily. I think they're going to ride it out, because I think also the Marlins' mentality right now is we're playing with house money. We didn't expect to be where we are right now to this point in the season. So, you know what I mean? Like, if it ain't broke right now, don't fix it. You know, something about this unit that Schumacher, has on the diamond is working. And it didn't work in this series against, the Orioles, but that's a formidable opponent, with really strong team. They've been together for a while now. It's not their first season together. Yeah. They got a good, strong core. And now the real test is, that bounce back on the road. So I'm really hoping that tonight, by the time you guys are listening to this, you'll already know who won, but I'm really hoping that we can take this first game in St. Louis. It's
very possible, bro, and I expect us to win and bounce back, man. I really do. I really do expect the Marlins to bounce back and win this series and really push for a sweep. A little diamond that we got from this series, right? It all wasn't bad. Johnny Cueto made his appearance, since getting injured, pitched a couple of innings, didn't give up any runs, was able to get a strikeout. Just the fact that he's available now as an arm coming out of the bullpen.
Very nice.
That shit helps a lot.
Of course.
You know what I mean? You're talking about a quality major league veteran starter coming out of your bullpen.
That's dependable.
And has some stuff that he can really throw. Yeah, he's maybe not in the peak shape of his career right now, but it's a guy you can rely on for an inning.
Yep.
Whether he's facing lefty or he's a righty, doesn't matter. He's a guy you can rely on. So the Marlins have players coming back, which is going to help. T-Raw is another guy that's coming back pretty soon from his injury. We talked about Jazz earlier. Let's see how it can translate to wins. But the guys that are playing right now, they need to provide support. It can't be a Arias, He's still leading the team with obviously the 380 batting average this year, but he's also leading the team in hits in the 130, second or tied for first with 19 doubles with Brian De La Cruz. And he's also the leading player on the roster for on-base percentage at .431. Can't just be all him. There has to be support. Doesn't need to be somebody playing as good as him. Just needs to be a collective effort. We need to see that happen against the Cardinals and the Rockies. Hopefully we pack the house against that Rockies series, man, and really show these guys some love and get behind this team because it's worth it. It's worth it. Let's see what happens with the Marlins, man. Now, the second thing that I want to talk to you about today is kind of right up your alley, right? I don't know if you heard of this sport called golf. A lot of people play it.
Golf, you say?
Some say the Scottish invented it.
I might know a thing
about it.
True.
We have the Open teeing off this week on Thursday across the pond and at the Royal Liverpool Golf Club. Kind of interesting, being the fourth and final major, right, of the season. We've seen a lot of drama, a lot of PGA players come through and win a tournament. We've seen a lot of Live Tour guys, step up to the plate and really put on hell of a performances. Brooks, Phil. What do you think the main storyline should be heading into this week's line or tournament at the Open?
I haven't looked. I really haven't looked at any golf media or anything like that leading up to this yet. Here we are Monday, so the first day of the tournament will be Thursday. But if I had to put my journalist hat on and think like a journalist, my main storyline is going to be, I'm just off the top of my head, is can Cam repeat?
Yep. Last year's winner.
He was 2022's champion right before he ended up leaving to go to the Live Tour and got paid a buttload of money and all that stuff. And now we've seen in recent weeks that, they've consolidated and all that. So now Live and PGA have merged. And I think that right there is, the major storyline. Cam being one of the Live defectors, can he be the second Live player to win a major championship this season? Making it 50% Live players, 50% PGA players, which they're all the same shit anyways, but just a storyline, behind that. Can he repeat as well? I think another storyline is Rory now winning the Scottish Open.
Good performance at the Scottish Open.
In a clutch fashion. That's another storyline. Can Rory win his fifth major? His first major in 10 years or whatever it is. Yeah. So
he last won the Open in 2014.
Yeah, so 9 years.
Yeah.
So I think those are the two main storylines that I can think of. What about you?
For me, it has to do a lot with Rory, right? Because like you said, the comeback, birding 17 and 18 to win the Scottish Open, right, from Robert McIntyre. That shows that he's locked in as far as what he has to do in order to feel good about playing at the Open. And naturally, him being Rory, right, and having the name of being one of the faces of European golf players, right?
Of international golf.
Yeah. Period, right?
Or golf, period, yeah.
Right? So he carries a lot of weight, and I'm pretty sure that people are looking at him as a favorite no matter what the odds are and saying, man, this should be a tournament that you're winning. Now, he comes into the tournament, I think he's at a plus 1,300 or something like that. Cameron Smith, like you said, he's at a plus 1,600. We got Scotty coming in as the favorite at plus 700, but we haven't seen
Who do you have as the favorite?
Scotty.
I'm looking at the Vegas odds, and
what do they have right now?
Rory at plus 700.
That's probably right off the win.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that's the main storyline right there.
So again,
you can have so many storylines that you.
But he's the main one because of what Rory has said in the past, the fact that he stood up for PGA, and you know what I mean. So
it would be sweet redemption for Rory, yeah. Because to
win the last one,
for those of you that don't know, when the whole Live merger thing happened, he got kind of caught like he was like the scapegoat, not the scapegoat really, but like
no, that's the right word
for the players, because of the fact that he was one of the most vocal ones. He was having conversations with officials at the PGA that were telling him like, forget these guys, we got to battle these guys. These guys are bad for the game. They're bad for the tour. You know what I mean? And he took a firm stance on behalf of the players and on behalf of the PGA and was vocal about it. And like, I don't like these guys and all this stuff, only to be a part of them and have all of the organization fall under the same umbrella with the PFL now.
Yeah.
And, he's kind of like looks like an idiot, but at the same time, not really, because he's still honorable. Like the fact that he was standing up for what he believed in, you know. And at the end of the day, it's just money. Money rules all. And I'm sure he learned a valuable lesson in that. But he's still a hell of a player, and he's still a hell of a person. So
he's got the guts. And the balls to win big tournaments.
It would be super dope. And I'm not the biggest Rory guy. I've come around on Rory in the last couple of years. When I first got into golf, I wasn't the big Rory guy. Now I've come around on that. But it would be nice. It would be nice to see Rory McIlroy win another major championship.
And let's be honest, him winning the Scottish Open in that fashion, like I said, back-to-back birdies, coming back from behind, chasing a guy down, those are traits that you want to have in your game heading into a big tournament like this against the best of the best, because you're looked at as a favorite now. And now you got to carry this momentum.
But that also can work against him. Right?
Yes.
And then also the fact that now he's going to really be playing against the best of the best, because this is everybody. The Scottish Open had a great field, but it didn't have everybody that we have in the Open.
Correct.
Has a lot of the same players, but there's even more competition here. So there's a lot more factors. There's a lot of guys here that know how to play links golf and know how to play Scottish links golf and all that stuff.
Let's talk about one right now in particular, Brooks Koepka. This is a dude who has played really good golf throughout the year, has really shown up in a lot of the majors, won a major this year, right? His ability to drive the ball, right, through cutting wind and stuff like that, in very open field that this course is going to be, does this give him an advantage over a bunch of guys? What do you think?
I think the long bombers like Brooks all have an advantage on courses like this because they can hit it so far, and these courses are pretty firm and fast with a lot of wind.
Rory too.
Rory, obviously, he's gonna take advantage. Guy, off the top of my head right now that I'm kind of thinking of that hasn't really done anything, and I think this might be a good opportunity for him too. Is Cam? What's his name? Not Cam Smith. Cameron Young, who's a long bomber. He's a long bomber. Another long bomber, Dustin Johnson. He hits the ball a mile.
Yep.
He's a
PGA guy. Live guy.
He's now a live guy. You know what I mean? He's a guy that I can see, having a sneaky good weekend, getting off to a hot start on Thursday and everybody looking at him like, oh shit, is he about to do something special here? You know what I mean? Because Dustin's kind of been meddling recently in the top fives, the top tens and stuff like that. He's been just a little bit off. There's been something just missing that maybe he can turn it on this week. Wyndham Clark won the U.S. Open. Yep. You got to think maybe Wyndham Clark figured something out.
But none of those live guys have really performed tournament in, tournament out like Brooks has.
Brooks, yeah,
right. And we've talked about those general like world golf rankings or whatever. Right. He has to be up in that top 3, top 4 consideration. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta definitely consider him for the top 5 in the world. I mean, he finished second at the Masters. He won the PGA Championship at the U.S. Open. He kind of struggled, but he still made the cut and made the weekend, even with a really off week. So. Brooks is definitely one of the best players in the world. But all right, let's go through this list, though, man. Guys like Scotty Scheffler plus 750, Jon Rahm plus 1100. Jon Rahm's been a little quiet ever since the Masters. I don't know if that's a Masters hangover. That's a guy that I'm not too confident going into this weekend.
I told you about him, dog, how he's been kind of like shying away from the big performances and not really being in contention. Haven't seen this guy's name really in a lot of top 10s this year, regardless of the tournament. It's like, man, I get it if you don't perform well at a major, maybe you don't have your best tournament, but like in these other small tournaments where it's just a PGA tournament, like why aren't you dominating those or finishing in top 5? Like Scotty
is.
Right.
Yeah. And then we got Cam Smith, who we talked about at plus 1,400. Yeah. Brooks Koepka at plus 2,000.
Wild.
I think that's pretty good value right there.
That's great value.
If you're a betting man or woman. Victor Hovland plus 2,000. Hovland.
Kind of interesting.
Another guy. I mean, him and another guy right below him. Ricky Fowler at plus 2,000. Ricky just got his first win in a while. At Detroit at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. He's found something this year. He's been performing really well throughout the year on PGA tournaments and majors, right, moving up the world golf ranking that you were alluding to earlier. I mean, that's a guy that he can do. He can also, I can see Ricky top 10 this week at the Open.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a guy who, when you mentioned earlier about guys who carry that pressure of winning tournaments, Ricky is one of those guys that came to my mind because it's like, man, Ricky is such a good golfer, but he doesn't have that standout major performance where, hey, here I am and I get this tournament, right?
He was close to the U.S. Open.
Super close, and he's been playing really good this year. Really well. Is this a guy who can step up in the time of competition and win a tournament? Because obviously he's shown this year, right, that his game is good enough to win tournaments. His game is good enough to go up there and shoot really low scores, right, regardless of what the field is playing like. I wonder if a guy like him, Victor Hovland, Xander Schauffele, if these guys can somehow take advantage of this course, right, not necessarily being those power guys, but being able to get a lot of pars, come out with some birdies, and kind of minimize the amount of mistakes of being in the deep rough or something like that. Because this course is going to be tough. Playing in Europe is always tough for these guys, especially the American guys, I feel like, because they don't have those wind whipping conditions in a lot of the major tour golf courses. Like, I feel like the wind out there is like always whipping at 10, 15 miles per hour. So let's see what that type of effect of conditions have on these guys, man. It's going to be interesting to see.
That's usually where the Euros get the edge, like your Tommy Fleetwoods and your Cameron Smiths and stuff like that. Another guy that is very sneaky, in that aspect.
Boy Tommy.
Well, I just mentioned Tommy, right?
Yeah.
Shane Lowry. Former Open champion, won a few years ago, beat out Rory McIlroy. I mean, that's a guy that he can show up to a major and fire off a couple low rounds, especially in some tough conditions, because he's used to that. He knows how to play in those kinds of conditions.
Yeah, that's a great pick, man. And look, even a guy like Morikawa, he's a guy who we haven't really seen too much of at top of the leaderboard, but when he's on, he's one of the best, and he can go out there and win tournaments. It's going to be interesting. This tournament is starting on Thursday. It's going to be interesting, man.
What I'm looking for is the coverage. How to watch the 2023 Scott? No, that's not what I want to watch.
In the meantime, while you look that up, I'm going to ask you a question, because this is the game we usually play. Who's going to be your favorite? Who's going to be your dark horse? I'll kick it off while you're doing some research. My dark horse for this tournament is going to be Jon Rahm. And he's a dark horse because he's been sucking lately. So we need this guy to wake up and show what type of golfer he is, right? Is he one of the best golfers in the world this year, or is he not? And go out there and put yourself back on that, I don't want to say pedestal, but put yourself back on that standing with the world's best golfers at the time, because a lot of guys have shown up and put up some really impressive golf performances this year. Jon Rahm has not been one of those guys. And what was his odds?
Jon Rahm is plus 1,100. He's the third favorite.
You know what? I'm going to take that pick back. I'm going to go with my
really
original
a dark
pick.
horse.
A dark horse. I'm going to go with Victor Hovland. Okay. That's going to be my dark horse.
More dark horse-ish than Jon Rahm, but both of those guys can be considered favorites. I'm talking about a real shit bomb, right down in the middle of this pie right here. Dark horse, bro. If I had to think of somebody down here that I'm looking at on this list that is the darkest of horses.
Who are you looking at?
I like the name Cam Young. I don't know why, man. Cam Young standing out to me. He's down here at plus 5,500. Like I said, he's been kind of quiet. That's a guy that's a long bomber. He hasn't really done much this year, but I think that guy might be due. And if I had to go with somebody to win this tournament outright as one of my favorites,
who's your favorite?
Oh man, I really like Ricky.
Pretty Ricky
I would
is
like,
what they call him.
Dog, you imagine Ricky wins this major, dog, his first major.
That'll be amazing. That'll be so
amazing. After the US
amazing.
Open, after having the 54 hole or the 36, was it? No, he had the 54 hole lead and he couldn't keep it up in the end. And Wyndham Clark came from behind. If he can get off to a hot start and just kind of keep it consistent the whole weekend, man, that'd be super dope to see Ricky Fowler win.
That'd be raw.
A major championship.
Yeah, I gotta go with Brooks. He's gonna be my favorite because, like I was saying earlier about him, man, he's one of those dudes, dog. When you sit back and check out all other performances at the highest stage, which has been the majors this year, he's gonna be one of those guys that round in that top three, and he's a guy who should be in contention to win any type of major based off his driving ability, his ability to make clutch putts when he needs to, and his ability to get out of mistakes by hitting hard shots. You know what I mean? Makes Brooks a clear favorite for this weekend for sure, in my opinion. And it's going to be interesting, man. Now, something else that's interesting that we're doing this week for this, we're doing the FanDuel lineup. All right, Sports with SoSo, teaming up with Miami Golf Bros here, and we're gonna put together a FanDuel lineup. I got the FanDuel lineup right here.
Yeah, so if you do FanDuel or FDS, or DFS,
fill it in.
DFS, I should say, daily fantasy or whatever it is, like in football, basketball, whatever, where you just pick for the game and the tournament or whatever, you get $60,000 or units, whatever you want to call them,
right?
And you have to pick up to 6 players. You get up to pick, but the better players are worth more. The lesser players in the field worth a little less, so you got to try to come up with the perfect team. Whoever has the most cumulative points at the end of the leaderboard is the winner.
Right. So we're gonna make one between Joel and I right now. Right. Joel's gonna pick first.
But wait, why did you give me your phone with the what is this?
I don't know. It's just to make sure that we put the picks. We'll put them in later, dog.
Oh, okay.
Just so that we know the math and it adds up.
So you're gonna put me on the spot right now to make my picks.
You're gonna make a pick. I'm gonna make a pick, and we'll alternate picks until
we're gonna make a team together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right,
we're in here.
You should make the first pick, dog.
No, you first.
All right.
You want me to make the first pick?
I want you to make the first pick.
Right,
I want you to make it because I know who you're gonna go with already.
Who am I gonna go with?
You're gonna go with Brooks. He's right there at the top.
No, I'm actually gonna go with. I'm gonna go
curveball.
with.
Here we go, folks.
Morikawa.
Wow, what a curveball!
Hey, it's not a crazy curveball, but it's a decent pick without spending too much money.
All right,
Morikawa's the first pick.
You know what? I'm gonna go down to the bottom here, lower. Start with a lesser value player, a guy that I think is gonna do well this week for some reason. Min-Woo Lee.
I like that pick. All right, that's a good pick.
Played in the Scottish Open this week. Hit a pitching wedge to over 200 yards. That was impressive alone. I'm picking him because of that.
All right, that's clean. That's clean.
And,
all right,
and only $9,400. So we should still have some money to play with there.
We should be good. You know what? Another guy that I'm going to pick as a long shot. Right? I'm
going to go long shot again.
I'm going long shot under 10 grand, under 9,500 as a matter of fact. DeChambeau.
You're going Bryson.
Yes, I'm picking Bryson.
All right, that's some value there, I think. I guess we got to go with a favorite then, man. Do we go with Rory? I feel like we got to take Rory here.
I feel like we got to take Rory too because I think that this is the one for him, dog. This is the one where he steps up, he wins it. It's almost that 10-year anniversary. Like, it'll be dope for him to get this tournament after being so close before, right? All right, so we got 2 more spots left.
Yep.
We got Rory.
How much money do we have left to play with?
17.9.
So what's the average there? 8 something?
8.
So we got to look for somebody down there.
We're looking in the 8s. We're looking in the 8s.
Wow.
You know what? I really like this first-year player a lot, dog. And he makes golf fun to watch on the weekend. We're going to pick Tigala at 8,500. How you love that?
That's great value. I like that pick a lot.
How you love that?
I like that pick a lot.
How you love that?
Did you add him?
Yeah, he's there. I think I did. Check.
There we go.
Put him on the board.
He's on the board.
Who's the last pick?
That leaves us with $9,400 to play with.
We got some cash. Who's out there, cuz?
So $9,400 leaves us with Meronk, Joaquin Neiman.
Okay.
Sam Burns.
Okay.
Sepp Straka.
Okay.
Ryan Fox. Alex Noren, Russell Henley, Louis Oosthuizen, Patrick Reed, Rob McIntyre, Denny McCarthy, Hogard.
Too far.
Chris Kirk. I'm just trying to find a name I like here, bro, because all these guys suck.
No, let's go back to that top 5.
Mm-hmm. All right. Meronk. I don't want to pick Meronk. I just don't want to pick that guy. Joaquin Neiman.
Let's do that.
Sam Burns, bro. Sam Burns has been pretty solid.
You want to do Burnsy?
Yeah. Damn, Thursday at 1 a.m. is the start. Wow. So that means we got to wake up super early for golf.
I'm going to be
up. Yeah, it's either him or Sepp Straka, man. I like either one of those two guys.
Let's do...
You like Sam Burns better than Sepp?
Let's do Burnsy. Boom.
All right.
There it is.
There it is. So that leaves us with Colin Morikawa. Well, we'll start with the top dog.
Right.
Rory McIlroy. Followed up by Colin Morikawa. Then we got a couple of guys in the 9,000s. Min-Woo Lee, Bryson DeChambeau, and Sam Burns. And then rounding it out at 8,500 is Sahith Theegala. I like it. It's not a bad little lineup there.
Right?
Save that. See how that performs this week.
For sure. And if you do win some money, feel free to donate. We'll be sending you some stickers for sure. Hit us up on the Instagram. Slide in the DMs. A guy who's definitely having his DMs slid into today, dog, is Lionel Messi. He made his official debut this weekend at Inter Miami CF. And boy, was that a shit show, man.
What a shit show that was.
Not because of Messi or anything like that.
No, it's just the dumbass that decided to put that event on at Drive Pink Stadium. Like, that guy deserves to get fired.
Facts. A, you didn't even consider the weather, knowing that it's been raining every other 15 minutes down here, right? B, you didn't account for the amount of people who were going to fucking show up to this event. What you think, that only 10,000 people are going to show up to this? Get out of here, dog. Everybody and their mom was going to try to get a piece of that place, man. And they did. They broke through security. They could have held them back and shit.
Stupid.
It was raining for like an hour and a half, delayed for 2 hours because of the thunder and lightning in the area. It's like, come on, guys. We could have done better, And then one of the Mas brothers comes out and is like, oh, this is holy water. This is a great sign. I was like, I don't know about all that, man, but way to make the best out of it.
Yeah, silver lining, baby.
I guess.
But nah, man, it looked like a shit show. That stadium, if you've ever been to it, it's like Travis Powell, just pink. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you know, our listeners definitely know what Travis Powell is.
Sure.
So I don't have to explain myself. But yeah, man, that shit was a mess. But anyways, he did come out and he said some shit, and I couldn't really understand it in the video that I saw. But I'm assuming it was something, along the lines of excited to be here and excited to play or whatever. His first game is going to be this week already that he plays in.
Correct.
And is it going to be at Drive Pink? Because this is going to be the same shit all over again.
No, I don't think it's going to be at Drive Pink. I'm not 100% sure. Look it up. But yeah, it is this week. They're playing against Mexican club Cruz Azul. If you know, you know. If you watch soccer, you know about Cruz Azul. But they're playing in a Leagues Cup match. The cool shit about Messi is that he's going to be on for the rest of this season, right? And then we have another 2 years of having Messi on Inter Miami CF. We just signed ex-teammate of his in Sergio Busquets, another Barcelona legend, a guy who's very familiar with playing with Messi. So we add him to the lineup, improving the team immediately. And then, they're also in the works of signing another former Barcelona player, Jordi Alba, to come in and play the back. Just shows you the power of Messi, right? And his ability to have players come in, not really make the most money that they could out there in the market, right? Because the Saudi league is obviously offering a good amount of cash for players who are willing to go to that league. These guys decided to come to Miami to play in the MLS with Messi, dog. Like, and it's just crazy the instant impact that this dude's gonna have. And don't get me wrong, he's getting his fair share of this, right? This guy's making between $50 and $60 million per year. Part of his deal includes an option for part ownership in MLS club or in Inter Miami. Similar to David Beckham, he's getting revenue shares of Apple TV's MLS program, which is obviously gonna have sales through the roof for people to watch Messi on Apple TV. Just crazy that his impact here is felt like that immediately. And this dude's going to be around for another 2 years. It's going to be crazy. Because now I bet they're trying to get that stadium built like yesterday, dog.
Yeah, but I mean, what are we going to do? Like, we got Messi now. That's great. This is a team that has 5 wins on the year.
Yeah, it's been rough. But
dead last in our conference. Dead last in the entire league.
Yeah.
I don't know when the season started. I don't know when it ends. I don't know how the playoff structure works.
Right.
But, like, what is Messi really going to do besides, like, he's going to pack out that whack-ass stadium. And if we only have him for 2 years, that doesn't give us enough time to even get the permits to build a new stadium.
No, we're definitely in the works already of building the stadium. There's no doubt about that. But as far as what's Messi contributing to the field, that's an instant winner mentality. Like, the fact that...
No, I know that. I know that. But like,
this season
what
is
does
not foregone.
that do for this season? That's my question exactly. Is it foregone?
Yeah, it's not foregone. You know what I mean? It's definitely not foregone. But
do we go undefeated and then make the playoffs?
They have
however that works.
They just have to do a good job, bro. Honestly, man, of being smart enough to to compete. And instantaneously, they're going to win games. Based off Messi and Busquets alone, they're going to beat teams because in soccer, majority of the team that controls the midfield is able to win the game. Now, are they going to have a drastic season? It's possible. You know, it's possible that they go on a run where they win 10 games and tie a game. It's going to be very possible because of Messi, right? And the fact that
would be some wild shit. Then it'll get everybody.
It's not that wild, Joel, considering the dude that we're talking about.
Right, he's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, Messi could come in here and this team could win 10 games straight and make the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. And they're going to be competitive just off the strength of Messi alone. Now, again, you add a player like Alba, you add a player like Busquets. Like, these are dudes who are really, 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 really good soccer players, regardless of their age. So they're going to be able to do what they need to do in order to put Messi and the rest of the team in good positions. And they're going to continue to add to this team, obviously. Maybe not so much the rest of this year, but you best believe they're going to find other talent to bring down here. So,
did you get your Messi jersey already then?
Fuck no, man.
No?
Nah, man. I'm not. Number one, my wife would fucking throw that shit away, right? Because
I mean, it's not
the Brazilian Argentinian beef is real.
It's not an Argentinian jersey,
listen, man.
The
beef is real.
Miami CF.
You know what? The next time you talk to my father-in-law, I thought you ask him if it's all right to wear a Messi jersey and see what he tells you. Nah, I'm not. Besides that, I want to see the improvement. I want to see the improvement because the other teams that I have a vested, some type of deposit, or whether it be emotionally or financially invested in, like, I'm getting some type of results. The Panthers took me to a finals. The Heat took me to a finals. The Marlins, they're in a playoff push. The Dolphins took me to the playoffs. Gonna be looking forward to another deeper playoff run. So all these teams that I'm investing in, I'm getting a return on. With Inter Miami FC, we haven't really invested in it. Now that we're going to start talking about them more, obviously because of Messi and the team that they're building, but I still want to see some type of return on that investment. Like, there's no way we get Messi and we lose. I don't want to see that. That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that big, exciting run where we win 10 games, and only tie a game.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I'll be watching just for the sheer fact. I mean, I'm not the biggest soccer fan, that. Right. You know what I mean? I will watch it, for the big moments, the World Cups and La Copa America and things like that. But like Miami, FC, I haven't cared about. They've been right here. Like, nobody cares about that. But they also haven't had one of the, if not the greatest soccer player of all time on their team. So that alone right there is going to be the draw for people to watch, just to see what transpires on the field with him playing against these guys.
It's going to be wild, man.
So I'm excited for that, man. And hell yeah, dude, I'll be the first one to say I'll jump on the bandwagon. I don't care. I'm not a true diehard fan. If it's a dope product on the field and it's, we're winning, I'll jump on that bandwagon quick.
Did you check if the game is here or away? Did you find that?
Oh, yes. We're playing Charlotte on the 20th.
In Charlotte?
Yes, at Charlotte on the 20th.
Okay.
And then
on the 21st.
No, that says the 20th. August 20th, 7:30. Inter Miami and Charlotte. That's what I got.
Oh, that's the next MLS game.
Yes.
Okay, their next game is this Friday.
The 23rd?
Yes.
Against
the 21st. What are you talking about, dog?
The 23rd, I'm looking at, I see August. I don't know, dog. I'm looking at August here. I don't even know.
Nah, they're playing July 21st. I don't know where you're looking at.
I don't even know when this is.
I don't know where you're looking at. But yeah, Messi's debut is July 21st, dog. They're playing Cruz Azul, dog.
It's so weird. I see here August 20th against Charlotte.
You probably have to look up the Leagues Cup schedule and you'll find it. Right. But yeah, so speaking of soccer, starting this week, the U.S. women's national team, they're going to try to make their third World Cup win in a row. Let's see if they can accomplish that history. That shit'll be dope to win 3 World Cups. That's crazy. Crazy that the times are going to be, since they're in Australia, are going to be very weird as far as trying to catch them. But they're kicking off, I think it's Saturday. Yeah, United States kicks off Saturday at 1 p.m. local time here. So check the women out, support, see what's up. You looking up the prices?
You trying to go?
Nah. Nah. What are the prices looking for that Messi game?
Bro, it's expensive. $3, bro.
For a regular ass seat.
For a regular ass seat at Drive Pink Stadium, dog.
There you go. The Messi effect, baby.
Verified resale ticket. These are all resale tickets.
Cousin, you know that people are gonna pay it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
People are gonna pay it, son.
That is wild, son.
Hey man, it's the Messi effect.
It's gonna be on Apple TV. I'll watch it.
Yeah, right. So I already have Apple TV. So,
but yes, it's weird because I see their schedule here says Sunday, August 20th is the next regular season game. But yes,
that's probably for the MLS.
Next home match is Inter Miami against Cruz Azul, who I have no idea. I don't even know what that is.
I told you that's the Mexican club, bro.
I know you said that, but I've never even heard about it, dog. So 4 days away.
Soccer heads know about
it. Hear this.
Soccer heads know about them.
Yeah, the Messi era is upon us.
It begins Friday, man. Tune in. Make sure you guys are tuning in. Get that free pass of Apple Plus if you haven't already, dog. Get your ass in there. Before we wrap up, man, we gotta tell the people, man. I posted it earlier today on Instagram, but yeah, you know what? Tell a friend, dog. We're gonna be out there at 365, man, on Wednesday night, dog. Shout out to Steve and the 365 Empire.
Shout out to Empire, dog.
Let's
Y'all
go.
already know, man.
My dog's wearing the shirt. You
City
told
of
him
plugs.
you gotta wear it. He's wearing it, dog.
Shout out to Empire, man. If you need that fire fit, go see them, dog. Over in Miami Springs.
This is my
Local
Legion of Zoom
John's,
shirt.
Legion of Zoom with the Dolphins on it. I got the Dade County OG on me.
Yeah.
You already know. Go see our bro out there, bro.
Yeah, man, and we're gonna be out there on Wednesday, recording the playoffs and the championship game, man. And can't wait to bring you guys that footage, man. We haven't done one in a while, dog. It's been a little minute.
We haven't done one in a while, but we've improved our process and upgraded some things. So I'm really excited to see how this video comes out. That's going to be something that I'm going to take a lot of interest in putting together.
Hell yeah, and you know what? The last couple of times that I've been out there just to check out the talents, definitely gotten a step higher, bro. And we're looking forward to a really tough, challenging game on Wednesday, man. I can't wait to go out there and be a part of that and bring you guys the footage, man. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel Sports with SoSo. Hit the notification button because trust me, you're not gonna want to miss this one.
We're almost at 300, so help us out.
Push. We got to get to that 300.
Out, man. One of my homies the other day followed me. I thought this mother was following me for months. And he just followed me. I was like, come on, man. Hit the subscribe button, dog.
Come on. And you know what? We got some merch dropping soon. Miami Golf Bros has merch dropping soon. Sports with SoSo, we got merch dropping soon. So now's a good time to jump on that bandwagon and make sure to tell a friend.
We're not closing yet.
Why not?
Because I want to talk one more thing, dog.
All right, we got to talk about one more thing. Bring it up.
Wimbledon, dog.
Oh,
I'm not a Wimbledon fan. I'm not a tennis fan.
I actually watched it.
I turned it on. I mean, I had to, bro. Everybody was talking about it. All my group chats were popping off. They were like, "Yo, this is getting wild," and I was like, "All right, let me turn it on." Bro, that kid did his thing. The 20-year-old did his thing.
The craziest part for me was the fact that they put before the game started the age disparity between the two guys. 15 years and like 130 something days. Mm-hmm. That's wild, right? This kid just turned 20 years old. Mm-hmm. Roger's 35, turning 36. Like, this dude was down 6-1, dog, in that first set. And in my mind, I'm thinking, there's no way.
You said Roger?
No, excuse me. I meant Djokovic.
Okay.
Yeah. Djokovic is turning 36. He goes out there and beats the kid 6-1 in that first set. And in my mind, I'm like, yo, there's no way this kid has it within him to bounce back. Mind you, he's the world's #1 player. And, and literally the next one
was
and this dude's
dogfight.
Dog came back like if he was a fucking 14-year vet, bro. And Djokovic ain't no slouch at this age. He's still... He's ranked #2 for a reason because he's obviously better than the rest of the tennis players right now. This kid, Alcaraz, he's really exciting, man. He's the future. He's really it. He's really it, man. Because that's not his normal turf, right? Like, he usually doesn't play a lot on grass. He's more of a hard court guy, a clay court guy. Playing on grass is totally different. You're sliding, you're slipping. The ball, trajectory is different. Like how the ball bounces, how you can spin the ball is very different.
Yeah, I saw that in the Browns patches that they had. The ball would hit there and kind of like it's kind of like
it's almost like a dead ball.
Yeah, that it just kind of gets a wrong bounce.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
So imagine, dog, like trying to compete at that high level, right, and still have that happen for you in a positive manner. This kid showed a lot of guts, man, and he deserves that championship. And to do it on the world stage like that at Wimbledon at such an early age, dog, 20 years old, when a lot of other kids are at his age are definitely not doing things like this.
No shot, dude. I was getting wasted at 20, dude. I wasn't winning the Wimbledon.
Nah, man, and not even considering it. Not even considering.
Hell no, bro. I suck at tennis. I tried tennis one time and I was awful at it. I'm not even good at table tennis.
I'm pretty good at
I'm not good at anything with paddles, dog. Like racquetball and shit like that.
I'm an athlete, dog.
I never learned. How to properly do it. But yeah, that was dope, man. That was pretty dope. To see that, it was interesting to see the stat line that since he's been alive, for 20 years he's been alive, there's only been 4 winners of Wimbledon.
Majors championships, yeah.
Of major, or not just Wimbledon, of just majors in general.
Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, and I forgot who the last one was.
Andy, or was it one of the other Americans?
It could have been Murray, I think, but that was it.
Yeah, I think it might have been Murray.
But that was it. And this dude did it at 20 years old.
But bro, like that's a lot of wins. But there's 4 every year, right?
Yeah,
like
don't get me wrong, right? Yeah,
and only 4 people up until now had won all 4 of them every year for the last God knows how many years.
Nasty.
That's wild. Like that's dominance that you don't see. Like the only thing that you can see in golf that resembles that was Tiger and his run. And that's it, like, or like maybe racing, like, but Max Verstappen.
But even Verstappen, like, it hasn't won enough championships.
And Lewis Hamilton.
Hamilton won a bunch of championships, but it's not like the most championships ever. You know what I mean?
Nobody like that's so wild that tennis is like that, dog. Like,
just shows you what type of era hit tennis with those 3 guys when they came aboard. Right? It was wild because it was like literally number 1 split 3 different ways because there's no way that either one of those guys were 2 or 3, right? It was just a different variation of one. This guy would beat these 2 guys to get the tournament championship. This guy would beat the other 2 guys to get the championship. You know what I'm saying? It was always in that form or fashion. Yeah. But now we see that one dominance in Carlos Alcaraz, a 20-year-old kid.
From España.
And a kid who's awesome, bro. You see this guy, he's in shape. He's obviously has that youth exuberance where he can make moves and get in and put his body in positions to hit the ball. Very impressive what he did,
man. He's a beast, man. He's a beast.
Deserves that number 1 ranking.
Yeah, for sure. I got to get into more into tennis.
He's going to make it fun to watch now, bro, because being so young and already dominating greats, legends at that young age.
It's impressive.
It's impressive. It shows he's got a long way to go, man, for sure. Dope shit, man. Dope shit. Good call on that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I just hope that he tells a friend.
Right? To tell a friend?
To tell a bunch of friends.
To tell one more friend?
To tell everybody he knows.
To tell everybody that they know that this podcast is on YouTube. So you have to hit the subscribe button and make sure you have the notification set up so that you get notified every time we drop some heat. And trust me, we got some heat coming for you guys. Not only 365, but we got a preview of Crawford versus Spence Jr. dropping this week with Victor Bermudez. Ooh-wee. You're not going to want to miss this one, folks. Until next time.
Peace.